Hey everyone, and welcome back to our ongoing series that is Learn GDPR in 10 minutes, where we break down complex legal topics like data privacy in a fun and easy to understand way. We will cover the articles, tie in the recitals for context, and stick closely to the slides. We both, as a team, will take you through the 13th session of the GDPR series. First, let us have a quick recap from the slides of what we have covered till now. We have covered from Article 1 to Article 8 of the GDPR. A reference link of these articles has been provided in the description below for your review. So this was about what we have covered till now. And today we are focusing on two types of personal data. The first one is general personal data like your name, your email address. And the second one is the special categories of personal data, which are super sensitive and need some extra protection. Well, here's the overview of our today's session, where we will be covering from Article 9 to Article 11, where Article 9 protects special categories of personal data, things like race, things like religion, health, or biometrics. Because as we say that not all data is just data. Then Article 10. Article 10 restricts processing data about criminal convictions and offences. And what about Article 11? It's about when controllers don't need to identify you. No obligation to play detective if it's not needed. Let us break it down article by article and understand the why behind the rules. Now let us dive into the articles. To begin with, Article 9 mentions about handling sensitive personal data. This article prohibits processing special categories of personal data. And what are these categories? The slides list them down clearly and I will explain each one of them to you. The first one is political opinions, your views on politics, like data showing that you support a specific political party. The second one is racial or ethnic origin. Data about your ancestry or maybe your cultural background, like a form asking if you are an Asian or African descent. The third one is religious or philosophical beliefs. The religious or philosophical beliefs of your faith or the entire worldview. Moving on to the next one is the fourth category. The fourth category is trade union membership. Records showing that you are a part of a labor union. The fifth one is genetic data, your DNA information, like a test revealing your risk for a hereditary disease. The sixth one is biometric data. Things such as fingerprints or facial recognition, like a biometric scan to unlock your phone, comes under sensitive personal data. And not just that, your health information, your medical records or fitness tracker app that tracks your heart rate from a smartwatch. Adding on to that is noting your sexual orientation. So there is a prohibition on processing all these 8 types of data. And why the prohibition? It is because this data is sensitive. It is so sensitive that it could lead to discrimination or harm to fundamental rights if misused. But you might think, can we never process this data? The answer is no. And Article 9 Clause 2 talks about when can this sensitive data be processed, and the exceptions are given here. The first one is explicit consent. When you give clear and informed consent for a specific purpose. For example, you sign a form letting your doctor share your health data for a medical study. The second one is employment and social law. Needed for work or social security, like an employer processing union membership data for labor law compliance. Thus, GDPR allows this for public interest in employment or social protection with safeguards. Moving on to the third one, The third one is activities by non-profits. For groups with political, religious, or union aims, like a religious organization processing member beliefs, but only for the members and without sharing it externally unless consented. The fourth exception is public interests. For substantial public interest, like a government tracking health data during a pandemic to control disease spread. GDPR supports this without consent, keeping in mind the proportionality and safeguards. The fifth one is legal claim. You can process the data for legal proceedings, like using health data in a court of law about a workplace injury. The sixth one is research and archiving. For scientific researchers or public interest archiving, like a university studying genetic data for disease trends and understanding them to help us get the curing measures. Where else can we process this data? The seventh exception is about public health. For cross-border health threats like tracking vaccination status during an outbreak. And the last exception is public data. If you yourself has made the data public, like tweeting about your political opinions or tweeting about your religion, this all comes under the exceptions. And as the code says, sensitive data deserves smart exception with strong safeguards. Every exception needs protection to keep your rights safe. So that was about Article 9 Clause 1 and 2, which speaks about special categories of personal data and also the exceptions. Now coming on to Article 9 Clause 3, which adds on to extra safeguards for sensitive data, which means that special categories of data can be processed only if it is handled by the professionals or others who are legally required to maintain the secrecy. In this way, we ensure the confidentiality and trust when dealing with these sensitive data. And coming on to Article 9 Clause 4, which permits member states to add stricter rules on genetic data, on biometric data, and on health data. One size doesn't fit all, and countries can tighten the rules further. This law confirms this flexibility to enhance the protection without blocking European Union's data flow. Let us understand Article 9 with examples. Here in the picture, Emma signed up for a mental health wellness retreat, sharing her sensitive data like her mental health history, her allergies, and her religious dietary preferences. But before giving this information, the organizers got her consent first. If I have to give you some another example, imagine you are using a fitness app that tracks your heart rate and medical conditions. The app must obtain your explicit consent. A simple checkbox won't make it. They need to clearly explain how your data will be used, and you must have the right to withdraw the consent at any time you want. For instance, a pop-up might say, "We will use your heart rate data to personalize your workout plan. Do you agree to it?" You would need to actively opt in, ensuring transparency and control in your hands. With examples and explanation, we have understood Article 9. And now, moving on to Article 10 of the GDPR, that is handling criminal data. This article covers personal data related to security measures, covers data related to criminal convictions, and also the offences. And these three types of data can be processed only under the official authority, like police, or if authorized by EU or member state law with safeguards for rights. Which means that criminal record data has to be handled only by the official authorities or only under the lawful authorization. Let us understand Article 10 with the example. Here in this slide, Sarah applied to volunteer. She disclosed a past criminal conviction to the social worker. The organization treated this information carefully and only shared it with those who needed to know about this. That's all about Article 10. Now looking into Article 11 mentions when identification is not needed. Sometimes a controller processes data without needing to know who you are and what your identity is. If the processing purpose doesn't need your identification, the controllers are not obliged to collect extra information just to comply with the GDPR. So no identification needed unless the user proves who they are. If they prove that who they are, then the rights kick in. Here in the picture, a website using anonymized data for ad analytics. They don't need to know your name unless you claim your data rights. With this, we have covered three articles today, that is Article 9, 10 and 11 of the GDPR. Big thanks to you for learning with us. If these lessons help you, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more GDPR lessons. Until then, see you next time and stay informed.